And now we are trying to link to the Facebook page. On your page, like the Imaginarium Film Festival. Got it. Okay, I think we are live streaming. I hope everyone is okay. Everyone has image that I can see. So we are live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us. If you are on Facebook, we invite you to let some comments in this post, and I will see them and relay them to our guests. Today I'm here with Paul Arion, who is in this meeting as the director of Fieldtrip, who is or which is a short science fiction film that was submitted to the Galactic Imaginarium Film Festival edition 2022. Welcome to this meeting, Paul.
Hello.
Or should I say Paul, because he's from Romania. Okay, and with us also are two members of our core organizing team. On the right and upper side of the screen, as I see it, it's Cristi Vicol, who is the deputy director of the festival, and in the other corner down, it's Marius Gordan, who is the coordinator of the screening location at the festival this year. Okay, so first of all, I'm very, very glad that you could come to this panel, because I was eager to talk to you and to ask you some things about your way in which your professional career evolves through the years, and you got this in this point, and of course we will talk about Fieldtrip. But first of all, please tell us about your beginnings in Romania, your film school, and all the other things that you think are important to your present career, so who formed you as a professional during your stay in Romania.
Okay, thank you for inviting me first. Yeah, my career. I started in the 90s, actually. Started before Windows 95, to be honest. That's way down in Sibiu. That's my town. I'm born in Mediaș, actually, but then I moved very early on to Sibiu, where I grew up. I'm pretty much self-trained, because back in the day there was no school, there was no training in this field. Actually, even in Europe, because I started with visual effects, which I have a career now over 25 years in visual effects. I was hired by a company, called, that was back in the day, to start a 3D department for a Norwegian film, which is out. It's called Frid Jimmy. Then I immigrated to Canada, where I stayed just eight years. I worked for another company, a visual effects company there, owned by William Shatner, where I worked for like 7-8 years. So in visual effects, and I continued. 2008, I moved to London, where I am still here, to continue my visual effects career. I changed companies here, like two of the major players in the visual effects business. I lived 1 year in LA, doing visual effects, actually, for John Favreau. That was for Jungle Book. Then the company, we took an Oscar for that film for visual effects, and then it continued moving the companies. And like, which in the last 5 years, I was global head of layout, which is like a digital cinematography field, which is all connected pretty much to film, everything with cinematography and all that. With this company, we quite achieved a lot. We won with the teams for another 4 Oscars. So putting on my resume 5 visual effects Oscars, which is not bad. Throughout the years, in parallel, I actually went to most of my career. I'm self-trained. In Toronto, where I lived there for 8 years, as I mentioned. I went to film school. Like there was like in parallel, almost like a night school for live action film school. And I just continued, and I made multiple short films throughout the years, where I either wrote and directed them, director of photography, which brings me to Fieldtrip, which I am a co-director with my friend Soren. He's a Danish. He also started in visual effects. That's where we met, and then we decided around 10 years ago, probably, we decided to make together a sci-fi, which is called Fieldtrip, and kind of that's the film we are talking about here. I just came back actually 2 days ago for my next project. I came back from the Arctic Circle, where I direct a feature film documentary about a recording of a music album in the Arctic Circle countries. So I came back 48 hours ago. That was the principal photography. The video that is called The Longhouse. That one is continuing probably for another year on my side to try to make it as epic as possible. Yep.
I would like to ask you some questions about Fieldtrip, because we got to that point where we can talk about this movie.
Yeah.
I do believe that it's one of the best movies that we have this year in the festival. And it came quite as a surprise to me, the beginning of it. And I would like to ask you exactly about the beginning of it, because I was watching all these movies, and then I clicked play on Fieldtrip, and for a second I was quite baffled, because the song the soldiers play. So for everyone who hasn't seen this movie, the movie is about a bunch of miners, I guess, sort of colonists,
Yeah.
who are on a planet which they have to clear of minefields. And they're quite raggedy. They're far away from home. Everything, is sort of improvised on them. It looks like that sort of improvised suit patched up with things they might have had around them to make it work. The suit is AI, so it can communicate to them, and they talk with it. And they're on this sort of transporter, this very old transporter, and they're listening to a song because they're quite happy. And you don't expect it to be well, a Romanian song.
Yeah.
It's an old war march from I believe the First World War.
Yes.
Batetoba it's called. I think it's the drum beats. And I would like to ask you if you did that on purpose, or why did you put it there? Because while I was watching it, I thought, okay, I understand it because I'm a Romanian and I know where it comes from. But if you don't, and you sort of hear the Eastern European accent, you might think they're Russians or Soviets. And was that the point of it, to make it that sort of Far Eastern European mining company thing, or was it just a joke for whoever might understand it?
No, it was not a joke. We did not want to have a Russian song, which is like quite cliche. Everybody's like, you do something and like they're putting some Russian song in the background.
Yeah.
So we did not want that. we more wanted to be a little bit more, well, no, you can't say exotic, but for people that are non-Romanians, it is sounding exotic, and they know it's not Russian, but they also know it's some Eastern European, probably something. But I'm not even sure. It could be that they think it's Eastern European just because a Russian cliche in films.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think
Language
it might
is
be the Russian cliche.
Yeah, so we wanted to go away from that. If you watch films, I don't know, K-19, or there's so many Hunt of Red October, or
Yeah.
it's films that everybody sings some sort of like similar or the same songs in the background. So we did not want that. And while I'm Romanian, so we decided to put the Romanian song. And it's funny enough because Soren went through Romanian songs to find something that sounded in his ear, okay? And then he was like, what do you think about this song? And then that's how we managed to put this song in, which is quite, I was very happy about it. And a lot of people ask about the song. So I think, and I hope we were right, because other people were like, what's this song?
It's actually a great song also, because it has that sort of, quite cheerful, but at the same time martial rhythm to it, and it immediately puts you in the mood and the atmosphere of the movie, and that sort of Eastern European exotic mood to it. And you can see that, well, second of all, you can see it from the fact that they're drinking rachiu, which is quite Romanian and Eastern European. It's a beverage brewed out of plums or whatever fermentates. What sets the mood and sucks you in is the look of the movie and the feel of the movie. It looks and it feels very, very real. And that's because everything is practical inside that. So it's a real location, the suits are real. Afterwards, the sets, the beautiful, well, but desolate background is real. So I would like to ask you, how did you make the suit? Where did you film it? And how hard was it to put all these things together to make it look so authentic and real?
Yeah. Yeah, the suit. Where do I start? So actually we built the suit in Soren's living room for 1 year. So during 1 year we just built this massive exoskeleton suit in his living room. And it's funny, like people just passing on the street, you could see some shocked faces because we was in a house on the first floor, so you could see this massive, it's like a 2-meter sort of exoskeleton suit, mostly practical. Well, actually all of it is practical, and then it's just assembled things, assembling different types of things. Like the helmet itself is the first thing. That's like a MiG-25 original Russian helmet, a high altitude actually helmet. Then we have some Arion clothing for some helicopter. We have hockey gloves. We have, you name it, medical equipment of like braces from if you break your hand and legs and stuff. Where we bought the entire stock. Probably they thought there was a massive bus accident or so. Then moon boots. We were building, making silicone molds for putting them together, painting them in the nights. It was quite a massive thing. Then actually somebody in Romania welded this copper installation around, right? So it's like it's almost like a demolition derby system, where you can actually protect a little bit if you crash in something. All these copper pipes, in Romania probably is like more famous than somewhere else too, where you make copper welds for, people coming and making those for your plumbing. That was the continuation on that. Talking about the film, because there are so many effects in this film, but actually we started with no visual effects. That was the premise. We were like, okay, no visual effects. We both came from visual effects. We know visual effects very well. And when you go into visual effects, then it's quite complicated to deliver the quality. That's why it took us 5 years to finish the film, because we did not want to just release it with some bad effects. But all effects in the film are really the ones that you need. There was no green screen in this film because we never replaced any skies, any backgrounds. We went on location, which the location is in Iceland. We went to Iceland shooting the second part of the film, using all this vista. I know Iceland very well. I had a photography exhibition as well with Iceland. I've been there multiple times. It's an extremely amazing sci-fi world. If you haven't been, I recommend you to go, because you're on 10 planets in 3 days. That part, and the first part, is actually shot here in England, where I live. So quite a funny story. We found this person who has a license to sell military equipment as well. So he had like a Russian amphibious tank, which he allowed us to shoot in it for a weekend. So then in that amphibious tank, like, we added, obviously, to make it look, because it's not a tank, it's like an interior of a spaceship, to make it look like that. And then we continued.
Talking about the suit and the props, one of our friends said, "Look, this is a MiG helmet." So he recognized it. It was Adrian Banco. Cristi, you were not at the screening, and yes, and he also recognized the Tsuika or Raki or whatever. So he said, there are 3 Romanian elements in this movie, and after that I discovered that the 2 props guy, one of them is Costel Lupu. So
Yeah.
I think he had a Romanian style input regarding the props. You said that the copper pipes, which are used in Romanian for heating installations, I think that he proposed this element. Can you tell us more about Costel and what was his input for the film?
Well, actually, Soren is not exactly like we. Soren is an amazing concept artist, so we are quite pre-production savvy. So we are, the suit was drawn by Soren with the pipes, with everything, like as a look. And then we were looking where to build it, and I was like, obviously, we're gonna do it in Romania. So Costel, I know Costel through a friend, which actually I know Costel through the main actor, which is Romanian, like Laurențiu Ciucu, which is my childhood friend. And we asked him if he can build this design from the drawings, and then he was like, yeah. But then he added, obviously, the amazing, like, sort of like handcrafted a look, instead of being like an industrial perfection, which we don't want. I mean, if you look at the film, that we want everything beaten and destroyed, it's like a diesel steampunk sci-fi where everything and nothing works, probably every mechanical part and in the world. Like references would have been like Moon 2001, Robocop 1, Alien 1, and Starship Troopers, and a little bit of Monty Python. So that was like our base. And if all these people will make a baby, I hope it's called Fieldtrip.
I do encourage people who are watching and will watch this recording to go on your website on polarion.com, because there's I've I've accessed the site, and there's quite some lovely drawings and concept art. Some of it made as a comic book, and they're quite amazing. I would love to see additional material made on this idea in this movie, and on this universe, because it's quite that sort of, as you said, sort of diesel punk, biopunk, late 80s, sort of, everything is on the point of breaking up. Technology is old, people are beaten down, but they still carry on and go on with their work. And I would like to ask you who or how how was the screenplay written? Was it written by you, by Soren, by someone else? Was it both of you? Because it's quite a nice story, and as every science fiction good story, short story must be, it has a setup, and then it delivers. It has a payoff in the end, which is quite nice actually, and it sort of adds layers to this movie, which not many science fiction movies have. You're either going for the explosions, or you're going for the more you have a twist and a catch at the end. So who wrote the story, and how did the idea how did he come up with the idea?
Like well, whole film is credited by what is actually me and Soren. The initial, like, just the story by kind of like the concept, the first sentence Soren had 10 years ago, we worked together, and was like, I want to take a guy in the space and put him in a minefield. That was the, and then through so many years and so many beers, we managed to create all the story elements. It took like multiple years, but like concepts, storyboards, all these parts, we are together worked on it for many years. So it's pretty much a collaboration of friends. The film is a collaboration of friends, actually. Even all the people inside are all friends. The actors are friends. Because we put people through hell in this film, I don't think I can do that with actors unless they are friends. As a film, but all the rest, all the preparations are my Soren and myself. I mean, Soren is a professional storyboard artist and concept, so he drew and drew and drew. All these storyboards you've seen on the sides, and
How hard was it to film in Iceland? Was it cold? Was it really cold, or was it in the summer? And Laurențiu Ciucur was just pretending to be cold?
It was not so cold, but like after 10 days, and at the end it actually really rained, and you name it. But we were all in cars, just going to Iceland, sleeping in cars, going on location, camping, and the film was made like that. No big production, and I mean, all money we had, we actually wanted to put in the image, and I hope it shows like the production value of the film, and and the finishing, because it's quite hard to finish up in a very good quality.
Yeah, you can see it. Especially that I love the fact, and I quite enjoy it when I see, sort of independent made movies, or people make movies out of their own money, or on a very tight budget, because they have to find all sorts of ways to improvise what they can't afford to do, and what big production companies would do. And it's quite lovely to see how they manage to solve these problems by either by montage, by camera work. One of the best moments, and it is quite surprising how well it was pulled off, is when Laurențiu gets out of his suit, and then the suit, and the montage is so on beat. because he turns and tries to grab him, and you don't expect that, because you know, then you think, okay, there's another guy in the suit, obviously, but it's so well pulled off that because you wouldn't think that the suit actually could work without him, and that's actually how it sets off for the payoff in the end when the suit, you know, goes on to do its work, and that was very, very well pulled off. So yeah, was that you in the suit?
No, that's as I mentioned, because most people expect from us to be like very heavy visual effects. I mean, if you do it in higher budget films, you either have the suit full CG, or you actually have a face replacement. Well, if you know, but in our film, none of this happened. So there's a trick: if you underexpose a little bit and you put a guy with a black sock in a suit, this face disappears. You know, that's like some sort of smart movie making from back in the day, you know, where people like, was the glass on? Was it off? Like, you know, because my resume and my field, and people know me and Soren, we are like, oh, we're coming from this world. And it was like, nope, that was it. $2 like a beanie, you know, and then it solved all of that, and it looks amazing. So you don't go full CG, you don't do this and that. And in the suit was another friend that, you know, he came there to help us and was the cook. You know, so, but I mean, you know, he's obviously not a cook in real life. He came there to help, but he took care of us throughout the trip in camping through Iceland. And then at the end, it was like, put him in the suit without the plan, because all this thing came naturally. Pretty much we're okay to adapt things fast and go with it. It turned really good.
We are very sorry that Lorenzo Ciucur, who was playing the main character, could not be with us today because he's boarding on a plane. But as you said, if I remember well, that you are close friends and have professional relationship in your projects. Could you explain us and give some more details about your cooperation films made together, so on?
Lawrence is not an actor, actually. He's, you know, this is his first film. I think he delivered unbelievably good. I think we won like a Barcelona, we won a Best Actor award in one of the festivals, which we were so happy. Myself and Soren was happy, you know, because all the effort from Lawrence that he put in. He's actually a programmer. We went together to high school, and we went from like primary school way back. So pretty much a friendship of a lifetime, you can say. Well, he actually is in the airport because he was here. You know, he was assisting me, not as an actor, like as a director assistant in my project that we just came back to. Is towards Romania in transit. He would have been here, but the plane got delayed. We went to high school together in Sibiu. We finished like computer science programming.
Okay. Also, I took a look on the visual effects team, and besides Alex Popescu, who I think almost for sure that is a Romanian, I see another name here, George, I think Percuț or something like that.
Yeah.
So two Romanians in 8 strong team. Could you tell us about your visual effects team that you worked with, and what were the main problems or challenges that you had with this film regarding the visual effects?
Yeah, no, they are two Romanians. I worked with them in the past here in London. Alex is an amazing. Well, he's done some matte paintings for us in the film. He's a good friend. He lives in Australia right now. There's a big shot in the film. Well, the biggest shot in the film is in like production value and complexity of visual effects. It's like a top-down drone shot where you see this entire crash site. That was quite a complicated shot to make. After we shot the film, I think like 6 months after, I went to Iceland in the middle of the night with the drone, and I shot a plate on the top, and that plate went to me here. I created the camera, then it went to Popescu, to Alex in Australia. He expanded the plate to look more like a crash site, and it came back here in London. I added on top some camera moves, and then it went to France to another good friend of mine, which is actually, he's also an actor in the film, so he made the effects for the film. He added all the smoke and all this particles on, and it went to a compositor in Ireland, which it finished off like this. That was like quite a massive shot. Then Alex done another matte painting in the film. Well, actually two more matte paintings in the film. And then George is a compositor, so he worked with me on the entire ending of the film, where you can see all the smoke between and where the explosion is happening. So he done the compositing part of that. They are friends of mine. So, but yeah, both Romanians, which is great. Adding.
So, and what are you working now? What can we expect from your team and yourself in, I don't know, the coming years, or this year, or I don't know, when is the next project due, and what is it about?
So I just came back from the shoot. I'm directing a feature film documentary about a recording of a music album in the Arctic Circle, which is like different than this. But I like to, it depends. I like to diverse, or it depends what comes in over the years. I worked on this project for 10 years. It's called The Longhouse. My very good friend is a musician, an Icelandic star, you can say. His name is Umi. And we planned to make this documentary like 10 years ago. So, and in time, it just went on and on and on. In this year, we got funded by a Romanian production house, which is they are only at the beginning of their career. So we Carpathian Motion Picture is called. Are you okay? I have my daughter here because it's early. If you hear like a because it's early here in London, and there are a whole bunch of plane delays, so Mama's supposed to come. Anyways, so Carpathian Motion Picture is the production house. They actually are co-producing with myself and Umi The Longhouse, which is amazing. Like, so more Romanians involvement in quite a big project. We finished now. We went to Greenland, to Iceland, Faroe Islands, Denmark, with a boat, with planes, with drones, with you name it. And then we recorded with locals, some sort of like an addition to Umi's music, like a freestyling with Inuits in Greenland. That was amazing. And then it continues probably for another year. Let's see how it goes, but I quite have high hopes. It's quite an original project. We went back to the band members' roots. It's like a feel-good band members' roots film where you go in the communities and find out more about the countries and the music and everything. That's my next film. I have a lot of other films in like pre-productions, but well, let's see how that goes. Obviously, always it's about funding, so do we find the money and all that. So sometimes people believe in something, then I bring up that project up. but I have a lot of projects in the making. Let's see how it goes. But the films are ranging from all kinds of styles, so it's not, I have sci-fi, I have fantasy, I have mystery, a film about the Dacians, like, I mean, historical. It was not historical, but stuff like that.
The first part of your professional career was working for different companies involved in big budget production. That was a lifestyle, a professional lifestyle. Now you are more like an independent producer of films.
All right.
Oh, nice.
All right.
This is your daughter.
Yes.
Okay, I have also a daughter, but she's 26 years old, but I know how it's to be the father of a daughter. So we are in the same club.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's okay. It's a lovely girl. Lovely girl. What's her name?
Aura.
Aura. Okay. So what's the difference with the goods and the bads between to be an employed by a company that works for a big budget production films and independent film production?
Well, I mean, it's all the time the scale, and it's quite a learning curve throughout the years, and you learn what to do and what not to do. Like a lot of these big productions, it's just an insane waste of money, I mean, beyond proportions. And you learn what to do and what not to do. But in the same time, if you work for big productions, everything can be fixed. Nothing goes on screen that is not, doesn't have a high level standard. If it's like big blockbusters, which I work for them. If you go independent, you are improvising more, and a lot of times better ideas are coming out because you have nothing and you have to make it. So you do something, like the helmet for Fieldtrip. Like, how did you do the guy in the spacesuit? Well, we just improvised something, and we improvised it while shooting, because we decided, okay, let's do this. I can't even remember. We said, like, I think it was Fabian, with our effects artist, to put a black sock on an actor, and I was immediately like, that's a great idea. I think it will work, and it worked. So the difference is obviously teaching. You get better. Storytelling is, to be honest, like, storytelling is number one thing that people think it's something else, but it's always about the story. So then you have, what is the story? And do you understand telling stories pretty much? Do you know how to start, how to finish a film? What Cristi mentioned before about the film is like, oh, this things all fall in place like this. So it's just a journey of our careers to learn more and more about filmmaking and to concentrate on the story, and then on top of it, you should deliver the highest production value you can with no money, right? That is the success, the key to indie making film, in my opinion.
Also, I want to ask you, as an independent film production guy, which is more challenging, the lack of funds, the lack of money, or the lack of people in the team? So you must do something with a small team. What, from your point of view, is more challenging?
Well, the most challenging thing is to raise money, right? Because most people cannot raise money. So a lot of people have ideas, but it's an interesting topic, more complicated, because it's not only having an idea, but that's the way I think. It's about the next step, which most people don't take, right? Because an idea, everybody has ideas, but they're not going to the next step. I'm not talking about the money difficulty, like before, when you plan, should I, regardless of the idea, what's the next step to make it into a physical thing, you know, so you take from your brain, like the ideas from the ether, and then you try to go, oh, now I have an idea. And I was like, okay, let's make this idea. And then let's find the money. So I think in that regard, that's the most difficult thing in a film is one day for you to say, let's make it. You know, just go and buy something for this film. Like, you know, it puts you into a situation of, which in our case was this helmet. So we bought this helmet at one point, and then you go, now we're making a film. You know, we bought this helmet, so you have something. That is a difficult aspect. And then finding the right people. So the right people in indie filmmaking is the most important thing, I think, because you need to find because a lot of people just fight, or everybody has ideas on set, and there's so much to this indie filmmaking. But having a good core set of people that you trust, that are multi-talented, that can deliver multiple things, and then that they're just going with it. Okay, let's do it. What do you need? We should do this? Okay, let's do that. Like, regardless of how insane it is, you know, because you don't have money, so you have to do quite some insane choices.
And now one last question from me as a festival director. In which way the film festival in which you are submitting your film help your company, help the film in the first steps, and after that help your company, your independent company, to grow?
That's a good question. Like, film festivals do help, and most of it is like exposure, right? So people, it's like the community of festivals, a platform of exposure for people, right? If not, if your film goes on YouTube, it's just gonna be eaten in, I don't know, in 2 weeks. Could be just like, it just eats it into this big machine that nobody cares at the end. So there are very positive aspects of the festival circuits that promotes you a lot for your next thing. Like, people go, oh my God, you made this film. Oh, this is amazing. What is happening? Oh, what do you do next? What is happening? We want to see more of you. And, you know, and then the networking, and if you go to festivals, right, Aura? If you go to festivals, and you meet people and you network, and, you know, I think it's quite an important, festivals are an important aspect of this indie filmmaking machine. I mean, there's so many festivals out there. That's like another thing, right? So there's so many festivals. So you have to research, you have to look around, try to find what suits you, what suits your film, you know, yeah.
We were very happy that you choose our festival to submit your film. As Cristi said, I'm with him on this opinion. Your film is one of the best films that we had this year in the short films category, and we are happy to have it in the official selection. Guys, if you want to ask something to Paul. Okay, if not, we hope that also in the future, when you will have some science fiction or fantasy film, you will submit them to our festival. And I really hope maybe in the future we can see each other here in Romania in our festival, maybe with Laurențiu, to have maybe a workshop here for the Romanian filmmakers, to have your personal experience shared with them, because this kind of information is very important to the people who are just beginning in their trip in this difficult but very, very nice professional field.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I can meet you all one day.
And send our regards to Laurencio and Soren.
I will. Thank you for having our
Okay.
film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.